We Have Concerns provides you with joy, we hope.
Yeah, we hope. We never check in to see.
Value?
Yeah, we'd like that.
Well, we would love some joy and value in return in the form of money. Can we have some money?
Yeah, give us some money. Patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
Fucking pucker that shit and hold it in.
That's right. Pucker that shit, hold it in. That's the secret to marriage. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Brian Towns sent us a story to wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com.
Oh, this motherfucker's close to a nickname.
Oh, very. He's been a stalwart.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting study that was just published in the Psychology and Aging in the journal Psychology and Aging. And it was recently highlighted by the British Psychology Society. It's the longest running personality study ever. Some kids in 1950, 1,200 of them, in fact, 1,208 14-year-olds in Scotland.
Disappeared in an old mine.
Yeah, but that was just Tuesday in Scotland. There's nothing very noteworthy about that. They were surveyed.
Only 1,200 kids go missing in a mine in Scotland.
In 1950, that's
in
a good
the fogs
day.
of Scotland. Let me tell you, they were like, good week.
That's a good one. Well, if only 1,200 kids died, well, that's a good week.
Never go to Scotland. It's full of ghosts and haunted mines and disappearing children and Belle and Sebastian in the Fringe Festival.
Now, those are good
Honestly,
things.
those are kind of lovely.
That's why you go.
Edinburgh is like a real cute little city. You know?
Go for the Fringe Festival, you stay for the disappearing children. So they surveyed 1,208 14-year-olds and the teachers and their teachers. And the teachers were asked 6 questionnaires that rated their personality traits: self-confidence, perseverance, stability of mood, conscientiousness, originality, and desire to learn. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they took those results and they amalgamated them into a rating for one trait that they defined as dependability. Okay. Now,
all undependable kids were led into the sea. You were either pushed into the sea or you were given a job in the mines. It was a terrible time. Never go to Scotland.
You didn't want to go. So 6 decades later, 60 years later, they tracked down as many of the 1,208 that they could. Only 635 are left. It's rough. 635 of them are left.
If they were kids in the 50s.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, they're going to be in their 70s.
Now.
Yeah. Only 174 agreed to participate. So we're from 1,208 to 174. But
did those that said they would participate, did they have a high dependability rate?
Well, this time, so they're 77 years old.
Yeah.
This time what they did, because they couldn't obviously ask their teachers, all the teachers are passed away.
Yeah.
They couldn't go do a 1-to-1 comparison. But what they did was they asked the 174 remaining 77-year-olds to rate themselves on 6 personality traits and then also nominate a close friend of theirs to also rate them on 6 personality traits.
Okay.
Which they then amalgamated back into that dependability. And they wanted to see how it matched up over a 63-year interval.
Yeah. I feel like only the high dependability people agreed to come back.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
Like, the low dependability people were like, it's like, I don't know, this dude said he was going to come back and do the study.
He said he'd be here.
He agreed. Like, they agreed to come back and do the study. I don't know what happened.
Longer.
Did he disappear in a mine? No, he didn't disappear in a mine. I talked to him yesterday. He said he would be here, man.
It wasn't really about who was dependable, who wasn't dependable. It was about whether it changed from age 14.
Do people change over time?
To age 77.
Is our nature innate?
The question I ask you is, and it's funny that they talk about when they were 14, because when I was 14, my mind was blown when someone asked me if a guy who owns a boat every day swaps out one board from that boat, one day he'll have swapped out every single board on the boat.
Is it the same boat?
Is it the same boat? 14-year-old me was like, whoa. So my question to you is, if our cells change periodically, 77-year-old doesn't have any of the same cells a 14-year-old does.
Sure.
Same person, different person.
Now, there are a number of answers to this question, Jeff. The first is the physical answer. The physical answer is no, probably very different. But remember that all of those cells get replaced slowly over time, including the brain cells, which don't really regenerate like other cells do.
Right.
Same psyche, same person, same basic intellect, but another 60 years of experience in life.
Right.
Can people really change? I think that's what's interesting. I think physically they are different people. Here's what I think. I think they all scored roughly the same. I think their traits were roughly the same.
You're wrong.
Whoa!
Correlation should suggest no significant stability of any of the 6 characteristics. Regardless of the amalgamation, even their 6 characteristics, no stability over the 63-year interval.
That's
completely different people 63 years later.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I love that. Well,
this was in complete contrast to their own hypothesis. Mm-hmm. The scientists thought, we're going to see this consistency.
Yeah.
It completely shocked them. And it even shocked them because many studies have proven that shorter gaps, like 10-year periods, do have stability. So they're saying that the longer the gap between testing, it's a gradual thing. It's the same thing as replacing a board a little bit at a time. At a certain point, you have a completely new thing, but you never saw it happen.
So if a guy owns a boat and you replace a board of that boat one day at a time, slowly over time, then there are 2 boats and you own a boat and you didn't even steal that guy's boat.
Then you have a boat.
Then you have a boat and he has a boat and they're matching boats and you can be boat buddies.
Boat buddies!
Right?
And then you have races.
That's not theft, is it?
No, it's never. It's not.
That's not theft.
Boat buddying is never theft.
No.
That's the first rule of boat buddying.
And that's also the best way to steal a fucking boat, everybody listening.
Yeah, is build your own boat.
Piece by piece.
Over time.
Well, when I think about this, when I think about me as a teenager and me now in my 30s, yeah, very different.
Well, yes
very
and
different,
no, right?
But
because sometimes I go, oh my God, I'm the same guy. And then I think about specific things I did and I go, oh, Jesus, I'm very different.
Yeah, but I'm thinking about underlying core personality traits, right?
Right.
Because there are things that a lot of people who are in their teenage years or your kids, you're a teenager, even in your early 20s, there's still a lot of like poking at boundaries and finding sense of self. There's an impulsivity that comes from, not having the backlog of information that an older person does in their
live and learn, right?
Yeah, but at your core, like, am I afraid of the same things? Do I sort of believe the same core things? Do I react to things in the same way emotionally? Do I have the same reactions to things? Like, I'm trying to think about that. And I think
the interesting thing is that this is trying to get at their personality, their like level of conscientiousness, like the kind of person that they are.
Yeah. And that's my thing is like, am I essentially the same sort of person, but with, I don't know, sort of smarter trappings around me?
Right.
Right? Like, is it same hardware, new OS?
Right, maybe.
Or even
different hardware, new
same hardware, OS upgrade, same underlying OS.
Yeah.
But just a little smarter. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. I mean, do you fundamentally believe people change? Like a kind of person that's a dick when he's 14, do you think he's a dick for the rest of his life?
I mean, I've seen so many people that go each way with it.
Right.
I've seen so many people and I meet like kid was a dick and then I meet them as an adult and I'm like, still a dick.
Right. Yeah.
Still a dick.
Yeah. But then there's definitely people who are like, oh my God, I remember that guy used to be a dick.
Yeah. I actually should give this person a second. Listen, I was a dick. Yeah. Still a dick. But I think I'm much less dickish than I was. I think if somebody met me as a teenager and then met me now, they'd be like, oh, I'm surprised at how you're not a huger asshole.
Well, you're on that trajectory, right? This is what they said in this study. It
on
says,
that slow burn. By 77, I'll be
you're going to be the greatest guy.
I'll be a relatively okay person.
Here's the quote. It says, the longer the interval between 2 assessments of personality, the weaker the relationship between the 2 tends to be.
Sure.
Our results suggest that when the interval is increased to as much as 63 years, there's hardly any relationship at all. You are a completely different person.
You'd have to be pretty stuck in your ways to still be the same.
63 years, I guess you do learn.
Yeah.
You do change. You do grow. It's pretty wild. I wonder if you asked those guys if they thought that they would be the same. If they would be like, oh, yeah, I'm not 77, isn't that old? But I wonder if they would actually think that or not.
You just always talked like that.
14.
Yeah, I'm basically the same.
That's how I talked back then, too.
This is just the way we talk in our town.
I bet you that they would probably say that they're similar type people.
Well, we do have a tendency to, we do have these contradictive tendencies to think that we're pretty great, but also think that we're not. Like we think we're pretty great in comparison to other people, but we're also pretty hard on ourselves. And so I could see where we don't think that we grow and change very much. I see where it's like, no, I feel like I haven't learned enough. I feel like I haven't gotten much better. I feel like this and that. I still feel like I'm better than other people. You know, like that's kind of the way humans think.
Right.
And so I would be, because when you asked me, I was like, yeah, they basically tested the same, right? Because I was thinking about myself.
Yeah.
I was thinking, no, I would probably test the same.
Yeah. I think I would probably feel like I would probably test the same too, but data suggests that we were wrong. I mean, we're not 77 yet.
No.
But
you're getting there.
I knew you were I fucking walked into that one.
You're fucking close.
I knew that.
You're closer than you are far, I'll tell you that.
As soon as I left my mouth, I knew.
Whew, so close. I'll tell you what's never changed about you. You still walk into that one.
It's true. I will someday learn, perhaps.
Like Mr. Magoo.
I wonder, it's interesting to me that we're getting to the first generation now that is going to have copious amounts of video evidence of their youth.
Yeah.
Because when I was a kid, there was some, my dad had a video camera, but it was basically like recording Christmas. That's it.
Yeah.
My kid, I have video of everything, right? And we're getting to that point now where we're going to be able to have people that look back in their 50s and 60s at video, lots of video of themselves as a young person, and be able to actually look at it with some clarity and go, did I really behave like that? Oh, wait, there's evidence that I did. There's me behaving in a way that I don't find recognizable to myself.
I went on the Wayback Machine.
Oh.
The Internet Archive.
Yeah.
Went on the Wayback Machine and looked up some of my early self-hosted websites.
Yeah.
Blogs and stuff.
Uh-huh.
What a dick. What a dick. Oh, thought I was so funny. Said some real embarrassing shit. Said some real terrible shit.
Yeah.
Kind of glad that there are no longer live versions of that stuff up, but also kind of sad.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a way where it's going to be mortifying for kids to have that kind of data, but it's also kind of fascinating because it used to be that you put in effort to keep a diary or a journal or a log of your life. And
I guess
now,
a diary is the closest thing.
Yeah.
Right?
And even a diary is sort of like, you don't really get to see it from an outside perspective, right? Video kind of is like, okay, well, I can see you on camera and this is how you acted, regardless of how you thought when you were at home alone in your private quiet time. Yeah. This is how you were publicly on video.
Yeah.
And I think it could be potentially mortifying. I think of a lot of the shit I used to say and do, and I'm glad that there's no record of it. Yeah. But it could also be very, very useful. Maybe like kids will have a much more centered idea of how much they've grown, right?
Yeah.
Like there's data. That's data.
Pretty wild to think about. I mean, I think about all those shows that they have, those like the Moth Radio Hour and everything, where people like get up and read their old diary entries from when they were kids, and it's so embarrassing. And they read it. They don't even know who this person is. I was 13 and I was so in love with Billy Flynn, and they read it and laugh, and I have no connection to that mental place anymore. But to be able to do that now with actual video of them in behaving and speaking and hearing themselves, I think is going to be a real wild paradigm shift.
It's going to be cool. The thing that is going to potentially change it from just kind of like a useful, amazing, wonderful thing to have is definitely going to be the public audience factor of it.
Right.
Because it's all on these platforms where people can give feedback at all times.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do have like private channels or private whatever, but I think about people who like, I'm 16 and I'm going to start a YouTube channel. And it's like, and then they're 26 now or 27 now. And it's like, oh no, what did I do? What did I say?
Yeah, man.
And it's out there.
That's true. And I don't think we have gotten to the point where we really even understand the ramifications of that yet, and what it's going to be like for the people that come of age and grow, as the study shows, into different people with kind of different personalities.
Here's something that I wonder. Did they make any sort of value, any sort of qualitative judgment about the data? Like, did dependability scores tend to trend up or down over time? You know what I mean? Like, there's an optimistic view of, like, theoretically it should be random,
Did
right?
they become better people?
Do you become a better person?
Yeah.
Theoretically, it should be random. Different things happen to different people. They react in different ways. You never know how they're going to change.
Right.
But you could take a large enough sample size and be like, hey,
that would be really interesting.
Tend to trend better or worse over time?
Or did we just all become cantankerous old fucks?
Yeah. I'd like to think better.
I would like to think better too. In fact, I think I just made the assumption in my head that they all became better people.
Sure, older, wiser.
Yeah, but that's not necessarily, make a good point. That's not necessarily the case.
I know people that have gotten older and gotten just weird and terrible.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just become real crotchety and angry and ornery.
Yeah.
It does not go into that. It just talks about the difference, but that would be a fascinating aspect of it.
That's the next step. The next step is whether people get better or worse on average over time. And it's funny because if they break it, you said they broke it into like 6 different traits. You could break it into the 5 big personality traits. You could break it into like anything you wanted, but it would be interesting to see, hey, as we get older, our extrovertedness tends to go down, but our empathy goes up.
Right.
And like all these things that could show, hey, don't worry. People generally get better.
Yeah. So
I'd like to see that.
I mean, I guess the existential question is, if all your cells are different, you look completely different, and your personality is different, are you even the same person?
No.
I mean, it's the boat question.
I don't think I'm the same person at all.
Yeah.
I don't think I am in any way to who I was when I was younger. And I think that's okay. I think that's we've talked a lot over the last couple of weeks about narratives and how we, as human beings, piece things into narratives because that's how we deal with stuff.
Right.
At XOXO a couple years ago, when I was there, Hank Green was giving a speech and he's like, you have no responsibility to this stranger that used to be you.
Wow.
Why would you?
It's a powerful idea.
You don't have any responsibility to any other stranger you meet on the street. Like, why does that stranger's dreams matter to you more than any other strangers?
Because I know him more and
I
hung out with him a lot more.
Because he was once me, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let him down, even though he doesn't exist.
Yeah, I remember what he used to be like, I guess.
Even though he existed for just a brief blink in time and he's gone now.
Yeah.
No, I think I am a completely different person. And one of the things that I always try to do is be like, hey, am I doing this because it's something I always wanted to do? Or is it something that I still want to do? Is this something that I've just always, has always been part of my narrative and so I must do it? Or should I just fucking cut bait?
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you fundamentally the same? Are you different? Do you feel like people change or do they mostly stay the same?
Yeah.
Did this data surprise you?
It's interesting that, to think about my parents and my grandparents were completely different when they were kids too. It's like, that's wild to think. I would love to hear what people think about this one. Cause are you the same boat? Are you not?
Yeah. And do you have 2 boats now?
Oh, if you have 2 boats, can we come on your boats?
Can we be boat buddies? Let us know.
Buddies!
I'm at @Carboni on Twitter.
At Jeff Canada. You can hashtag that boat buddies.
You can hashtag that boat buddies. Oh shit, we've really been slacking on our hashtag game.
I know. People get upset when we don't do that.
People have been calling us out. We'll try to be better. We'll try to trend better as we get older at giving you hashtags.